So a lot of, if we're doing it as we're learning it and we're just doing it in English or something and we're not using any of the instruments, then you really need a second chopin because our activities come really fast. But if they have the instrumentation, then you've got time, you know, because they're playing the cymbals and you've got time to move on to the next thing. So anyway, if you're going to try to do this on Thursday nights now, then I recommend that you have 2 people to help you. Okay. So the basic things that we are responsible for when we do this practice is the offering of incense, replenishing of the offerings. It's done a lot throughout the practice. What that means, you have a little pitcher of water and a little bowl of rice. And the offering bowls that are on the altar are traditional offering bowls. Then you just put little water, rice, and a little sprinkle. That's called replenishing the offerings. So we do that a lot. Then we make a lot of torma offerings. I forget how many. I think there's like 7 or 8 tormas in this practice. And you know, we'll go up there and talk about those and when they're taken out as we go through this. Then soak is a big part of this, and we also you know, offer many plates instead of like what we do like in shower lessons. We offer many plates, 4 main plates, and then you have the mama plates also in addition to that. And then the other thing we do is we offer rakta and men, and those are the 2 kapalas, and they have the long-handled spoons. So that's another repetitious thing that we do quite a bit. And then at the very end, when we're closing everything, we're making final torma offerings, the chetto and the tema. We do this little dance of, I think it's called dance of suppression, but don't quote me on that one. But anyway, at that point with the dance of suppression, it's where the unse or the Vajra master of course would be the teacher if they were present, or the unse, and they take a porva and they suppress all the demonic forces and activities with the effigy, the one effigy, this little guy. This is the suppression effigy, remember? So, and then we do some activity in front of the lama where we put the plates down and we walk around and we mark the plate with the dorje that we've received from the lama. You know, received with our zen, we receive the dorje, and then we mark the plate, and you know, so there's that activity as too. So pretty much that's it, the lama. So I think what we'll do is we'll go through the practice page by page. We'll point out where the chopin's activity is, okay? And then, like, there may be, like, the 8 auspicious verses in advance of this practice. That's an optional kind of thing. So when you do the 8 auspicious verses, then you probably all know that we don't offer incense at that time. We do that first, then we do the 7-line prayer, okay? And so then at the 7-line prayer, we offer.
Okay, where is that in the practice, at the beginning or the end? Or?
Well, I'm just saying it's an optional addition to the practice at the very beginning.
Okay.
We might do the 8 auspicious noble one. If that's the case, then you don't offer incense, which would be your very first activity, until you do the 7-line prayer, okay?
Okay.
So that's what the practice begins with, offering the 7-line prayer. And we offer the incense in a formal way. There's 2 ways to offer incense. One is just the simple version when you're offering it directly in front of the altar. And it's kind of like an infinity sign. But it's actually a chop. If you look in the Tibetan language, it's the chop comes down like this and like this. So when you bring the incense down, it's kind of a straight up instead of angle, like a, so it's up and then over. That's what one of the Tibetan monks showed. So, it's always a downward movement first. Say this is incense. down to the right, and then up, straight up, and then over, and then straight up, and then it's always done low. Some people go like this. It's low. Slow. Maybe I'll get the real stuff on.
I was going to jump up here for my old, and I didn't do it.
I can't jump very well.
Jump, the legs are easier.
Yeah, so. And you always have these done down.
You're
You're choking in like, this part
Maybe
is
lean it up a
short,
bit.
so it's not anyway. Dr. Fisher said we could actually pin our bend into the chopin because, if it keeps falling down and you're doing all that all the time, you can actually pin it in place and then you make this really short on itself. Okay, so the incense is in the right hand. It's a downward movement, and then straight up, over, straight up. Yeah. You don't have to be like really rigid about it. If you're more curved here, no problem. Since you'll notice if you do this straight up, then it's easier actually to do the left side of it. And it's just graceful and beautiful. And while you're making this offering, remember that you're making this offering on behalf of the Sangha, the Lama. And so then you can practice the mindfulness. This is like you are the representative of the Sangha and of course the Lama. So you're making this beautiful incense offering. Okay? And it's lower instead of up here. It's better lower. If you watch the monks for retreat, then that's how it is. Oh, and so then the formal is you're gonna do it towards the altar. I think I forgot the altar, the throne, the sangha. That's how it's done. Okay, this is formal. Usually a formal incense is done as an invocation. That's usually when it's done. But we were told we could, use that formal one in this practice if you wanted to. Sometimes people do it in the shower blessings, but technically you would just do it to the altar. Either way is okay though. It's no big deal kind of thing. What? Yeah, you can just kind of time it. Or you don't even have to time it. You can just, whatever's natural. You just want to be back facing the altar by the time the third sunlight is up.
So that's the altar that's from.
Yeah. So in this case, usually the monks they go in a clockwise direction, and so but our throne, is right here. So you can just kind of slightly, you can go in front and then just like turn, and then sangha. And it's really slow. It's actually a foot movement for it, but I don't know how to do it very well. It's, where you're moving with your heel, putting forward. Anyway, maybe I can practice that and show you all the time. It's really beautiful, though. If you watch it in the empowerments, oh wow. It's just like it just brings devotion up when you watch it, when it's done properly with the right intention. Okay, so that's what we start out with. We start with the formal incense, and since Seven Line Prayer is an invocation of the room, it's perfectly appropriate to do it there. Okay?
But you say if we do the 8 auspicious ones, we don't use the incense, right?
Yeah, we don't start with the incense. You would start after the 8 auspicious noble ones, and then at the 7 line prayer, you would offer the incense. This is all in the